Hey, 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 welcome back to Brothers Trippin. We got Josh and Andrew in the room with me. I'm Aaron, and today we are going to just kind of run down a little bit of football because football is back. We are
Yeah, baby.
100% back now. So we're going to talk about the first two games of the Nebraska season so far and this first weekend of NFL football and what we've had in the early games and things like that. And then we've got some fun mailbag questions coming at us, and we will definitely do some fantasy. We'll discuss how bad my fantasy team is and see how these guys are doing later.
It can't be that bad.
Welcome back, gentlemen. How we doing?
Week one. It cannot already.
I'm already at
bad.
5% win percentage. I am already that bad.
What's happening here?
My phone is doing something really weird. I don't understand what's going on. It's possessed. So that is wild. So yeah, no, I'm already at a 5% win percentage we're not even halfway through the afternoon games, dude. Like I'm getting hammered. So
yeah, and I was projected to have the highest point total of the entire league, and I'm getting worked as well. So I'm just glad we never settled on
what the heck?
Something
we still never came up with that.
I know I'm a little nervous about that myself. Well, we just need to come up with something viable, and then we can take it to the commission and get it implemented.
I say we revolt.
I wouldn't have minded throwing $10 down, like everybody puts in $10 and then whoever wins gets like 75% of it and whoever finishes second gets the other 25 or whatever. $100 is essentially if everybody put in $10. So I wouldn't mind that for the winner. Not that I'd get any of it. I'm just saying,
You don't mind donating?
Yeah, I don't mind donating to somebody else who's really good at fantasy football.
All right.
Who's really lucky at fantasy football is
before
more
the
like
next episode, right? Each one of us needs to come up with something. One idea, one viable, good idea for the loser that we can present.
All right. I'm down.
I saw one the other day. It was a video. I think the loser had to try out it was like try out for the team's like cheerleaders or something like. Oh no. It was for whatever the university was. He had to try out for their marching band, like their drum line. And so he's up there with these cymbals, like flipping it around on this stage, and just had no idea what he was doing.
I'll take that.
That's
anything
awesome.
that you can get on video.
I kind of love that actually.
That's pretty funny, creative. Yeah,
absolutely.
Try out for like an open Major League Baseball tryout.
That would be awesome.
That'd be so much fun. I would show up for. There's no way I would even hit batting practice pitching. So
I'd be injured by the time it was over.
You know what I've thought about is remember when we used to play softball, Josh? You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
I bet that if I went to a batting cage and tried to hit underhand softball pitching, I could not hit it right now.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow.
I'm just kidding.
No, you're not wrong.
I think you're onto something, dude. I think we should
cutting me deep.
I'm just kidding.
Interesting. Maybe you have to go to the batting cage and I don't know, like, and try and
try and hit fast baseball.
90 is the fastest and hit. I don't know. Well, I guess that wouldn't really matter.
We're losing him.
You would kind of break it up there, Andrew.
I guess never mind. I was going to say you'd have the
awkward pause.
Loser would have to try and hit a 90-mile-an-hour fastball at the batting cage, but I guess never mind. That wouldn't really make any difference if you're just hitting against yourself
with no shirt on.
Or you could try to have to step in front of a 90-mile-an-hour fastball like
Happy Gilmore.
Like Happy Gilmore.
Nacho Libre.
Try not to, All right, gentlemen. Oh, all right. I don't know. Did you guys get to watch the game last night, or was it something that you were like, oh, I'm not watching this one, and I'm all,
I watched it from start to finish.
Nebraska game?
Yeah.
All right. What are you talking about? We're going to be doing.
Hey! I'm just saying, if there's a game that you're going to allow yourself.
My life is
the
not that
Akron
interesting.
Zips we're talking about here.
I didn't have anything else going on. Yeah.
Hey, listen, I want to just say the fact that they got to actually play the game means that we, have hopefully broken off some of that, like, weird juju that happened from that very first game. And I mean, I realize this is year 3 for Rule and everything else, but
It
the
was
fact that we
Akron,
got
huh?
we actually got
Is
to play
Akron
this
that
game
bad?
against Akron gave me a good feeling. They only won 5 games last year, but they finished winning 3 of their last 4, and they won their last 2. So they were supposed to be trending up this year. But when you don't score anything against Wyoming, and then you get shut out in game 2, they haven't scored yet this year. So
was.
I mean, it doesn't help that their receivers can't catch
crazy.
a ball.
That was
a ball
rough
in their hands.
It was rough watching them try to.
So quarterback wasn't terrible. Receivers were really bad.
Yeah.
But Nebraska's receivers made them look foolish.
Well, I mean, the quarterback, frankly, was.
I'm probably 75% of the pass plays. There wasn't a single DB within 5 yards of our receivers on those crossing routes.
Oh, I know, it was crazy.
And some of those running plays, dude, same thing. I mean, Emmett Johnson had holes on half of those running plays.
It was
that you or me could run through. So,
and it was nice to see, the blocking, the kick out blocks, Carter Nelson and Heinrich Harburg making good kickouts and everything to get those lanes open. I mean, it was nice.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron, I was going to ask you, were those running plays where the tight end would on those kick out blocks? Was that the same running play each time that they were? Because it felt like they were running that play.
I mean, it's the same concept. I don't know if it's I mean, they ran that play a lot. And
no, I just paused for you.
Did we lose him?
Dramatic. It was just a dramatic pause, dude.
Oh, okay. I was like, wow, he just
sleeping with his eyes open. I saw him blinking every once in a while, so I knew he was still there.
No, they did run that play. They do like that play too. I think because they have the tight ends that they have, their strong tight end room. So, they've been running that off tackle kick out, kind of play, which is nice. So, and it'll be different, I mean, obviously the Akron DNs, they were just sitting there and letting themselves get kicked out rather than squeezing. Because if you watch the motion, as the offensive line kind of goes down and is blocking down, they're leaving that guy to get kicked out. But instead of squeezing, he's like sitting out there. And so they won't run into that. Like they won't I didn't get to watch much of the Michigan game last night. I switched over as much as I could, but I figure Michigan's DNs will be better at squeezing that play. It'll be, something where the tight ends actually got to like either dig a guy out or do what they call logging him. So if the guy squeezes down hard enough, rather than trying to kick him out and from his inside shoulder, kick him out, you would go to his outside shoulder and kind of try and wash him down as well, even though you're still coming, say, left to right. But instead of like trying to get his inside shoulder and kick him out, you would then, because he's already down inside, you would go to his outside shoulder and try to pin him in, or log him is what we called it when I was coaching. So it'll be interesting to see how that happens, because they do love that play. They run that a lot. That's clearly one of Holgerson's staples.
Yeah, Michigan's defense and their linebackers, significant upgrade there. Like that's going to be, those guys are fast, and it's also annoying that they friggin' Hausman came from Nebraska. Like I still struggle with that, man. If he was there,
that would
make a huge difference.
That kid's a baller for sure. But I will say that
they did not look great.
Let's see if I can find
They did not look great.
What did Oklahoma do?
They did not look great.
Oklahoma ran the ball.
Underwood looked like a fish out of water. Like he just looked like he was a bit over his head.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
in a very hostile
he looked like a freshman. He looked like he should look as a freshman.
Is really good.
Exactly. And that's the key where
I was just saying that Mateen is.
Sorry, go ahead, Andrew. I keep really talking. Good. Go ahead.
Yeah, he is.
Mateer, the quarterback,
very athletic. Yeah.
TJ Mateer's getting, isn't it JT Mateer?
It's just John, I thought, but it might be JT, but
I was way off.
I thought he was John Mateer.
You're probably right.
So Oklahoma had 408 yards of offense. They ran 74 plays. They had 270 passing yards and 138 rushing yards in the game. So they clearly I think that it can be done. It can be moved on them. And their offense did struggle. They had only 288 yards of offense, only ran 56 plays. He was 9 of 24 passing, and then they had 146 rushing yards, most of which, 75 of which was on that one particular touchdown. Right after the halves.
Does it say how many like QB hurries or anything that Oklahoma had on him? Backs?
No, it doesn't really give any, at least not what I'm looking at. It might be somewhere, but I may not have the right source.
I mean,
let's see here. 142 passing, and he had -1. He's not a runner. He's not. Underwood's kind of like Raiola, and he's not looking to run, In fact, he doesn't, from his high school days, he does not like running. He prefers to be in the pocket. So he is a pocket guy. He just,
I thought he was a bit more of a dual threat.
Everybody talks about him as a runner, but he's really not. No, from my understanding, he's not. He's a, gotta be thinking, kind of guy, but he only had 3 rushes for negative yard. So, and I'm guessing that was from sacks. I'm guessing he got sacked and,
So speaking of sacks, like that to me is a point of a little bit of concern. Didn't get a single.
Yeah, we did. Got one
single sack on Akron.
Yeah,
by our starters.
Yeah, not by our starter.
That was.
You're right.
Yeah, that was second or third stringers, and Duke was exhausted by then.
But he was the thing, because I was thinking about that too. But he was under pressure a lot.
Yeah,
he had decent mobility to at least kind of escape the pocket. So he was under pressure. And I think that's probably why some of their throwing game was off, in that even if the guys were dropping balls, he's having to throw them from weird angles or just get rid of the ball in a hurry. So it may have been that his receivers are not used to having something come at him that fast. So like if he's throwing after a second and a half because he's got guys in his grill, then, it's going to throw timing off with the receivers and things of that nature. They still should have been catching balls, but, that didn't surprise me. So I still don't know if we know enough to know what's going on with the sack situation. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if that's so I actually think that Underwood might be the first time where we really get to see, like, if we can get some pressure on him by disguising our look in the back end, like they've been talking about all offseason. That's what Butler's been talking about, is disguising our look and making him think. And if we can get him to think and he's not a runner, then we should be able to get into his grill and be able to get a few sacks. So that could be our first real test to see what our pass rush is like, because they're not going to be able to, I don't know. He's not going to burn us with the quarterback run. I don't think they're going to be better than they were against Oklahoma in terms of just overall running,
What's Michigan's O-line like?
They had to replace a bunch of starters from that got drafted.
Yeah.
I don't know how many, but I still think it's a solid offensive line.
I also think that that's an interesting point, that Moore's not going to be able to be there for the next couple of weeks in the building coaching. It could be a bigger impact than maybe we think. I don't know. We'll see.
So they have a bye?
Go ahead.
Okay.
No, they play Central Michigan this next week. Yeah. And so the guy who's the head coach at Central Michigan, way back years ago when he was the head coach at Kentucky Wesleyan, got a hold of me, and I did helmets for him at Kentucky Wesleyan. He then took a job as an assistant coach at Army, and he's been at Army for the last 8 years. In the last couple of years, he was their offensive line coach. He just got the head coach job at Central Michigan.
What's his name?
Matt Drinkle.
That is not who I thought.
He was only the O-line coach the last 2 years.
Okay.
The guy you thinking about?
Oh, he left Army a little while ago.
Yeah, he left a little bit ago. Yeah, and I think Matt may have been the one to replace him. Anyway, Matt reached out to me again a couple of weeks ago, and he wants me to paint up Central Michigan helmets for him because Rydell's giving him some issues or something. And so I'm working with him right now. Like, I've literally been communicating with Coach Drinkall's all season right now. And so I've watched both their games just because I'm interested in that kind of stuff when I'm working with a guy. And that Central Michigan team may not beat Michigan, probably won't beat Michigan, but man, they're going to give them 4 quarters. They're going to play them hard because they played hard yesterday against Pittsburgh, and they had that game. At one point, they were down, so it was a 2-score game, but they had the ball and they were driving. And then I can't remember if they got stopped on a 4th down or had a turnover, but they were right there in that game. And after that, it kind of, Pittsburgh was able to add a couple scores, and so it looked worse than it was, but they fought hard all game, and I think they're going to give Michigan a lot to deal with because they rotate 3 quarterbacks. I don't know who was it. Was it one of you guys that asked me about the quarterbacks? Somebody asked me that. Anyway, they Central Michigan rotates 3 quarterbacks, like sometimes on the same drive. It's wild. And so they're going to give Michigan a lot to think about, which means that Michigan won't be able to start focusing on Nebraska, I don't think, until it's Nebraska week. So
is the Nebraska game going to come down to them getting pressure on Underwood? It almost feels like that.
I hope not.
I feel like it's going to come down to, pressure, yes, it doesn't have to result in sacks. But if we can get pressure on him because we're making him think and he's worried, if we're going to pull the old, seeing ghosts phrase, if we can get him seeing ghosts, then that's where I think the defense will be able to hold him. I expect a game to look very similar to the Oklahoma game, frankly. That's kind of what I imagine. If Nebraska is going to win, that's what it's going to look like, is a similar type game. Kind of a workman-like offense. You're going to have to take your check downs. You're going to have to, you're not going to get a ton of explosive plays. Certainly not like last night, but if you can do that and keep the time of possession, because Oklahoma had a 6-minute time of possession lead on them. So if you can keep the time of possession, run a lot more plays, just kind of keep the offense efficient and not have any turnovers or keep it as minimal as possible, like one, and then defensively just keep messing with Underwood's head and stuff, then I think you'll keep Michigan off base. I don't think they're a good enough offense at this point to like all of a sudden just break out and go for, 50 points against a solid defense. I just don't think they can do that. I would bet they don't even score. I would bet they score less than 40 against Central Michigan, to be honest. I don't think they'll score 40 against them. So maybe that seems like a lot, but when Nebraska beat a MAC team by 68 points, not scoring 40, granted Central's more better than Akron, I think, but so it'll be, I think that's sort of the keys to it. You've got to kind of just play mistake free and keep drives going so that you have time of possession, and then defensively get Underwood thinking. So, and this next week,
we have it.
Houston Christian will be another tune-up, another chance to work on some of that stuff. Houston Christian just lost to Eastern Kentucky, by the way. I know, that's rough, huh?
That is a bitter rivalry.
Hey, I'm excited. I'm going to my first Eastern Kentucky game this year, later in November, when they play Utah Tech, as a matter of fact. But yeah, Sarah did her undergrad at Eastern Kentucky, so I've been wanting to go down there and catch a game.
The old Eastern Kentucky Utah Tech connection
is adorable.
I know, right? That was why I picked that game. I thought it was funny that they were playing a team from Utah, so I was like, all right, let's go to that one.
Yeah,
right.
Isn't Utah Tech the old UV
thing?
No, it's the old Dixie State from St. George. Yeah.
I'm guessing most of the student body didn't even know that.
Well, the name change only happened like 2 years ago, so I would hope that the student body who's there realizes
know they had a football team.
At least the upperclassmen realized this school was called.
I know.
You didn't know Dixie State had a football team?
I didn't know they.
Well, it's Dixie State. So
football team.
They kept the same like logo and stuff. They're still the gosh dang it. What are you'd think I'd know. Their logo is like a buffalo. Trailblazer. I think they're still the Trailblazers.
I thought it was the Normus. I thought their mascot was the Normus. Dixie's College, forget it. Dixie Normus.
I get it.
I'm glad this is funny for you, bro. It's like,
come on, that's funny.
That's some.
I stole it from. It's a new low for me. I stole it from Austin Powers.
Man, I haven't seen Austin Powers stuff in 25 years. Holy smokes! I can't even remember the time I watched Austin.
Forget it,
Dixie.
Dude. It's hilarious. Her name, the girl's name, was Dixie. Hi, I'm Dixie Normus.
There we go. There we go.
All right, I got it now.
Oh my gosh, just now catching on. All right, we're all back. We're all here.
What can I say? I'm sort of singularly focused in life. It's bad. It's so bad.
He's like, I don't get it. Football. What's a football, Normus? That was ridiculous. We should edit that part out.
I can if you really want me to.
I don't care.
And now.
Nobody I know watches this.
So just watching the game though last night, what did you guys like? How did you feel watching it in terms of, the fact that the last 10 years we've had angst even in games like these? Like,
sure.
How did you feel last night?
You want to go, Andrew, or you want me to?
I mean, there were a couple of drives in the first quarter that weren't great. I mean, it did start off a bit slow. I mean, I didn't really understand the tush-push play, but...
Well, they got a first down on the tush-push against Cincinnati, so...
I don't know. I didn't love a couple calls in the first quarter, but like overall, once they got rolling, goodness, there was nothing to not like from the second quarter on, in my opinion. Now, I think let's just say there was maybe 1 or 2 drops instead of 10 or 12, they probably score a touchdown, maybe 10 points. And like, that's kind of what I thought. I thought Akron would probably score 10, maybe even 13, 14 points. I thought it'd probably be like a 48-10 game, but 68-0, I did not see that coming. It was great to see Mosey. Is it Mosey or Mose? I don't know. Mosey, that awesome.
Mosey.
He don't want to go down. The depth.
Yeah.
It was great to see Queen Latifah out there. No, I mean, he's nimble. He was accurate. That was exciting. Honestly, I think just to see some of those backups out there and giving them a chance to see what they could do. And you kind of expect to lose a bit of the momentum when they come in, right? And that didn't happen at all. In fact, they just kept pouring it on. So that was really exciting.
Yeah. I think, I take all of the positives that, like, we haven't had games like this very often over the last who knows how long. And so, like, awesome to see that they did what they were supposed to do, like what was supposed to happen. I think that's like the big positive, right? That's the main thing. I don't know, like, sort of the maybe like nihilist in me is kind of like, well, a different team isn't going to make the mistakes that Akron made. So I don't know how much you can actually take from it in that sense. But I think just the overall time, like the volume and the time under tension, so to speak, like that's kind of a fitness word, but like just getting the reps in a game scenario is positive, and that's how you develop, you know what I mean? And so I'm hoping that it carries over, that they start to see what they're capable of. I mean, there was one guy in one of the post game, I can't remember who it was now all of a sudden, but he said, I never been part of a shutout before. And so I was like, oh, this is good. He's starting to see like what they can be capable of. And so I think with all of that, I'm really hopeful, but the sort of like negative Nelly side of me is kind of like, let's get him up against Michigan and see what actually happens. 'Cause I worry about that kind of game against Michigan being like the eye opener, you know what I mean? And I don't want that to happen. So I'm just kind of along for the ride, and I'm trying not to have too crazy of expectations. And I think, I think it's going to be fun. I hope it's just a good time. And I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I don't want to sound negative. Like, I'm really happy about everything so far. It's just like, I have this like niggling, like voice that's like waiting for the other shoe to drop. And I'm trying to like silence that voice and just enjoy the ride.
Amen to that. It's tough to, after the 10 years of trauma that Husker fans have been dealing with, that, it's tough to, think that way. I don't know if there's anything you can take from this game in terms of like this. Okay, we now know we can beat Michigan or beat Minnesota or, whatever. I don't think there's anything like that you can take from the game. But what is nice is that, like you said, with an outmatched opponent, not only did they do everything you wanted them to do, everything they should do, but they did it to an nth degree that, because frankly, if we were sitting here and the score had been, to use Andrew's example, 48-10, we would have been just as happy. Like we would have been, or maybe not just as happy, but we would have been happy. We would have been totally good with that. A 38-point win would have been phenomenal. The defense holding them to 10 points, like, the offense scoring 48. Like we all would have been like, yeah, that's a good quality win right there. So to do it to the next level, and for things like, for instance, the second field goal attempt from Akron, you could have just walked through that play and let them kick a field goal or whatever. But for Van Poppel to put that kind of effort in to block the field goal when you were up, by an ungodly amount, like the effort part was what I loved. And the fact that it came from Van Poppel, who's you're considering one of your leaders on the D line, like all of those things to me were real positives. I felt like the DBs were really working on their game and playing hard through the whole thing. And that was the other thing. I didn't feel like at any point they got up by whatever the score was and then decided to take a few plays off. I didn't ever feel like that. Akron made a play or two, but I did not feel like anybody was like, oh, shoot, we're good now, which when you have a team that you're trying to get to that next level, they need to know, because if they get up 24 against, or 21 or whatever the score was against Akron, and then they take some plays off, if you get up 14 on a team like Michigan, you can't do that. You can't do it against a team like USC or something else. You've got to keep playing as if you're tied with them. So if you play that way in a game like Akron, then you should play that way in a game against any of your better opponents. Because you know that you can't let your foot off the gas. And that's been one of the things that has absolutely driven me bonkers during the last, who knows how long with Husker football, is that it was almost guaranteed that if we got up by 2 scores, the next chance the offense for the other team had the ball, they were scoring and getting it back down to 1 score. That was just like, it was almost automatic. And it drove me, it has driven me crazy for these 10 years. So I take all of that as a positive, because that's what we want from them. And they did it to a really high level yesterday. And so if we get another game like that against Houston Christian, maybe even, where we got the backups in sooner, or something. But I don't, I was sitting there thinking about that. I was like, man, I don't want to, I want to give the starters some run, because it's not that I want to get anybody hurt, but I don't want them taking time off. Like you know what I mean? Like I want them to play and stuff to be ready, because I don't want them feeling like, oh, okay, we got to get ready for Michigan. I want you ready to play whoever it is, like right now. So don't be looking to get out the game as soon as you can. I want them to stay in the game. I want them to want to stay in the game.
Well, you guys know I was being sarcastic
and things of that
when
nature.
I texted that the first time.
It'll be
all right.
That was no,
not real, but realistically, like I mean, I knew that they weren't going to take him out at that point, but like part of you, like it's like there are a few like spots like that where on the roster where like you lose the top guy and it's a you have no idea what you got behind him kind of scenario. And so I understand the thought behind it too. Aaron, to your point about like putting away an opponent, that was the other comment that same, I can't remember who it was, the same athlete said in the post-game presser, was he said, at halftime, coach just told us we gotta finish it off or something like that. We gotta keep our foot on the, he didn't say foot on the accelerator, some other phrase that means the same thing. But like in the past, they haven't put teams away. They haven't had that killer mentality. And so to see that starting to develop, I think that's really, really important, because they did accelerate. I think it was 33-0 at half, if I remember right.
Mm-hmm.
And so they finished with more in the second half. So that's what you want to see. You don't want to, it's not the same. It's not just not taking your foot off the gas. It's that you're then accelerating. You want to keep your foot on the accelerator, not just cruise control, so to speak, even. And so they definitely did that. They just kept attacking. And I mean, some of that is just Akron getting exhausted, and
sure.
But still, the fact that like mentally they had to keep attacking mentality, I think wow, that was really bad language right then. Just the fact that they had that mentality, I think, was good. And I think the coaches doing their part to keep that going too. They didn't just start calling like, run up the middle, punt. You know what I mean? The coaches kept calling their game too.
Did you guys feel like a lot of the pressure was coming from the ends? So our DNs or like maybe stunt packages or blitz packages? Or was I?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. I don't know. I wonder if that's going to be like a strength of our D line is like the speed of our either bringing DNs off the line or stunts or linebackers, or it just doesn't seem like so far we've had a lot of pressure consistently up the middle, but I could be wrong.
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong because the D tackles are smaller, almost, I don't want to say significantly smaller, but they're not road hogs like Nash and Ty were. Those guys were there as run stoppers. The guys who are replacing them are leaner, they're smaller, they're a little bit faster, but they're not, so far they haven't shown the same ability to get pressure fully up the middle. At least I don't think, but what do I know? I've never coached anything.
Well, the only thing I'll say is that like Van Poppel and I don't know, did I should have even paid attention last night. Did Keona even play last night?
I think he did, yeah.
So Van Poppel and Keona are both like 290. They're not small. They're not, Nash was, I think, 315 and Ty was 300. So, I mean, they're not small, but it's not really their job to necessarily, it's not your interior down guys who are the ones who are going to be creating your pressures. Well, they are, so like, we're definitely getting pressure in terms of moving the quarterback off his spot, or, he's got to throw under duress if he's still on his spot. We're getting that, and we are getting that mostly from the ends. By the way, that what is it, Petchak kid? Oh my gosh, he is going to be that kid. He's a freshman, right? Like a true freshman.
Was he?
If I'm not mistaken, that kid's going to be a beast. He comes off the line.
He's got a motor.
Yeah, he does not stop, and then Waniri is like that kid's going to get. He's going to get better and better as this season goes along as well. Those two are some phenomenal athletes. And then the guys playing Jack with McGahee and McCullough, and is it Shavers? Is Shavers the other Jack, or is it? Why can't I think of his
I'll
name?
look it up. I can't remember.
Anyway, the guys playing your Jack position, that's where your pressure is going to come from usually, because what's hopefully happening is that your two interior guys are occupying the blocking, from the interior line, and your DNs are getting one-on-ones, or, last night they weren't even blocking them at times.
Right.
Which I don't think it was intentional. Like, Akron was bad. That's not going to happen with better teams on the schedule. Minnesota's not going to leave them wide open, but I do think that that's where you're going to get our pressure, and that you're going to, this defense, with what Butler has said, is going to be one where we're going to create pressure using pressure packages. So bring in 5 or 6, and we are playing a ton of man in games. And so if we're manning up, we're bringing 6, and so as long as we can keep guys not knowing who it is that's coming, so that they think the pressure might be coming from somewhere else, and they might think the pressure's coming off the left side, but it comes off the right. I mean, those kinds of things I think are going to, help the team basically, get those quarterbacks unsettled and off their spots, basically.
So the other Jack, I'm confused by this because they have listed on defense, they have defensive end, nose guard, defensive tackle, and Jack.
Mm-hmm.
So which side is Jack?
Well, I mean, your D end and your Jack will flip. I mean, all 4 of them will flip sides. It just depends on what you're lining up in. You don't stay on one side.
I didn't know if it meant one is playing field side and the other's playing more towards the.
I think generally you're going to stick your DNs possibly into the boundary. Generally, definitely not all the time. You'll flip them wherever you think, and typically they'll set up the defense based on the offense's strength. So if the offense is in an 11 formation, right? If they're in 11 personnel, which is 1 back, 1 tight end, then whichever side the tight end's on is usually how you call your defensive strength. So if the tight end is to your right as a defense, then you're going to call that, and then whoever the strength is in your defense is going to go to that side. So that's probably going to be your DN, because you want him dealing with the tight end, or whatever. And unless you are specifically running something, though, where you're going to have the Jack play coverage on that tight end and then bring your pressure from somewhere else. Well, that was wild.
He needs to get Easy Fiber. We just upgraded to Easy Fiber, and our connection's so much better.
It looks like it. You've actually been running really smooth today.
Yeah. So I think, is Cam Lenhart hurt? I swear Rule said something about him in the post-game press conference, and I caught it like midway through that. Like, I think he might be out.
Like out, or just outright?
I think he might have undergone surgery of some sort.
Really?
I don't know. I could be wrong. And that would be why Cade Petchek played so much, is because he's listed as third on the depth chart. Andrew texted, no doubt.
Yeah.
I just got kicked out. You don't say. So Shavers is a linebacker and McGahee's a jack.
Okay. So Shavers is one of the interior guys. Who are the three jacks? Because I think there's three. There's McCullough,
Ochoa, McGahee, and Dylan Rogers.
And Ochoa had some nice plays later in the game, and they've loved him in camp. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and Singleton also had a freaking killer game too. He stuck his nose in their bunch.
Yeah, Singleton was all over the place last night. He was a man possessed, especially at the start of the game. I was like, wow, this kid's all over. So
I'm gonna try and find any information on, was it Lenhart or was it
Lenhart? Lenhardt. Is that what you're? You do that, and I'm gonna read this. This episode of Brothers Trippin is brought to you by Helmet Nation. Whether you're a diehard fan or a collector, we have officially licensed NFL and NCAA collectible helmets, from minis to full size. We also do custom helmets. The other thing that we want everybody to know with Helmet Nation is that we do have a lot more new products that we've added to the website. We have puzzles, which have great panoramic views of your favorite NFL or top NCAA team stadiums. We have Tumble Tower, which is basically just the off-brand name for Jenga. We have playing cards, which are really cool. They come decorated with your team's logos, etc. So we have the playing cards with dice, and we have single deck playing cards. We have a bunch of new products that are great. So for instance, if you are looking for a birthday present for somebody or a holiday, like a Christmas gift, you can go ahead and find them a helmet and then find them, another team, item. So if you got a 49ers fan in the family, you can get them a 49ers mini helmet, and you can get them a 49ers puzzle to put together, do that with the wifey while the game's on so that everybody feels like they're spending time together or things like that. So anyway, we are veteran owned. And so drop by helmetnation.com and rep your team today. So we did ask for questions from our non-existent audience. And we have some mailbag questions here. So after the opening 2 games of the season, Big Red Fan 84 on X asks, how many wins do you realistically think Nebraska finishes with this season now that we've seen 2 games? Andrew, what do you think?
Ooh.
Time's up.
I don't know if anything has changed from my original prognostication.
What did you say originally? I can't remember.
15.
No. Okay, perfect.
No, I think it was
9-3.
Yeah.
And then whatever the bowl game does.
Yeah. I'm going to stick with that. Yeah, I feel pretty good about that right now. Like I said, I think the true measure of progress will come in beating a team that they're not picked to beat, that they're an underdog against.
Okay. Josh, what do you think?
I think, I guess I still kind of feel like 8-4 is progress, and I would be happy with that. I don't know. This is maybe just my own weirdness. I really dislike when teams, or fans, I should say, put stock into things like, in year 3, Matt Rule has typically got blah, 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 blah. Like, who the F? That's just a coincidence. Like, there's no, nothing scientific about that. It's just a cliche kind of stat that people throw out. You know what I mean? Stuff like that drives me nuts, because I don't think that you can ever really put much stock into it, because every team and scenario is different. I mean, the dude didn't even make it to year 3 in Carolina. Did he? I don't think he did.
I don't know if it's coincidence, though.
He was in year 3 at Carolina.
He was in year 3.
But NFL's different than college. I don't know if you can say it's a coincidence if he's done it.
I just mean It's twice that happened. Like
but he's still trending. He's trending in the same direction.
Yeah.
At his third place. And you're right. It's not scientific by any means.
No. But I also think in those other examples, Temple and Baylor, in year one, he had like 2 wins. And then he was, 2-10. And then in year 2, he was basically breaking even. And then in year 3, he made a similar jump. That didn't happen here. Year 1, he was 5-7. In year 2, he
6-6.
What?
He was 6-6.
Yeah, and in the bowl game he was it's not the same kind of trend. And that so I don't know. I just don't love it when people put stock into that like unknowable kind of thing. You know what I mean? But I think to me, like, I don't know, for whatever reason, Nebraska's choice in coaches has never been able to lead them in a fast turnaround like so many other schools have been able to do for whatever reason. And so I'm just looking at this as like, let's just get better year after year after year, and so to me, 8-4 is still good progress. That gives them a chance to go 9-4 at the bowl game. So I want it to be better. I hope it's better. I'm going to root for it to be better, but I'll be okay with it if that's what it is.
That works. The thing that I think is interesting is looking forward at the schedule, was looking at how some of the other teams have been playing that are on the schedule. So Michigan State had to go to double overtime to beat Boston College at home.
Mm-hmm. Saw that.
They did make the play at the end to actually win the game. So you got to hand it to them, but I'm not sure how good, I'm not sure where you put Boston College on the list of teams. Michigan, of course, lost to Oklahoma. You've got who else? Like USC has gone berserk, but they haven't played literally anybody. I think it's, and then who played San Jose State? Well, that was Texas. Okay. That's not who I'm worried about.
Close.
I'm trying to think of who else is on the schedule, because Penn State's mollywopped people, but they haven't played anyone.
Is that an actual phrase?
I've heard it before.
It's a great
word. Yeah, I wasn't complaining.
There's Minnesota been a couple of... Yeah, I don't even know if Minnesota's been beating anybody up. It feels very workmanlike to me. Like they're...
It was like 66-0 for them or something like that. Yeah.
Was it really?
It was, and that was like in the third quarter.
The other one, we don't play them, but wow, did Washington just lay the smack down last night? There were a lot of games that were in the high 60s and 70s yesterday. That kind of surprised me. Probably spoke to your guys' disappointment in the week schedule because there were so many games that were blowouts. So Iowa lost to Iowa State, though, which love seeing that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know where I saw it today, but I saw somebody write that Kirk Ferentz has already Iowa-fied, I think is the word they used, Iowa-fied Gronowski as his quarterback, so he's turned him into...
Made him worse?
Yes, when he was at South Dakota State, that kid was a playmaker. They're not doing nothing on offense. It's insane. And I seriously am beginning to wonder if there's something about how Kirk Ferentz coaches football that legitimately makes his quarterbacks not scared,
it's their
but
offensive coordinators.
Well, I mean, it's got to be coming from somewhere, right? And they just changed the coordinator 2 years ago.
Yeah. I know.
So it's got to be coming from somewhere. It feels like whatever it is coming down from Ferentz through his coordinators to the quarterbacks to be just bad. It's wild to see that. And so, yeah, it was good to see Iowa State get that win. I always love seeing the Hawkeyes lose. That was fun.
UCLA lost to UNLV.
That's another one. That has been, all right, I did not think that UCLA would win the game against Utah, but for them to and they were whipped yesterday too until a couple of late touchdowns. They were, now UNLV did exactly, for a second, they did exactly what used to drive us crazy with Nebraska. And that was they got up several scores on UCLA and took a nap. And that's how UCLA they got back in the game. And then UNLV woke up, made one big play that saved the game. They win the game. But UCLA was not in that game until UNLV let them in. They were getting dominated. It was 23-0 at half for UNLV. And then they the final was 30-23. So, and watching the game, just the body language and everything else going on from the UNLV players, they were celebrating before that game was done. And that allowed UCLA to get back. They are not good. So it will be very interesting to see, them. The one thing they have, they is that Nico will take off and he'll run. So, and he's pretty good at it. But hopefully by the time we play him in game 9 or 10, when the Huskers play him, they'll have, who's really good, by the way, in football is,
Hold on, don't tell me. Let me guess.
Underrated that people are not talking about right now.
Don't say Illinois. Don't say Illinois.
No. You live there. You're wearing the hat. Not you.
Utah?
Yeah. Devin Dampier looks incredible.
Yeah. He's a freaking stud. He was a stud for UNM. I keep telling people this.
Well, I knew he was too, but everybody kept kind of playing it off. And I was like, man, I think y'all are underrating him. But now I think they have a really good shot at winning the Big 12.
Be sick.
If Dampier stays healthy, I think Utah's got a shot at the Big 12 and a shot at making the playoffs. Like, I honestly think he's that good. And their defense looks just beast mode. So I think people are sleeping on Utah.
They were one of Joel Klatt's dark horses for making it into the playoffs. And I would love to go to that Utah BYU game on the 18th. That would just be so much fun in Provo.
That would be amazing.
Especially if they're both undefeated at that point. That would be insane.
Right?
Did Arizona State lose yesterday? They were down.
Yes, they did. They lost at Mississippi State to the worst team in the SEC. That was crazy.
They were down pretty big, and I know they came back, and then
they even had a lead like by a point or something, and then they gave up like a 79-yard touchdown pass.
That's right. That's what it was.
Crazy nonsense at the end of the game.
That's right. Yeah, the very
end. It was like a minute and a half left in the game, and they gave up this pass, and I was just like, what is going on? And then they, couldn't get close enough to try and take a field goal shot, so they end up losing by like a point. But freaking Bulldog fans are storming the field and everything because they they don't know how to win football games anymore. So that was shocking for them. So
is Illinois a top 10 team? I mean, seems a little fishy to me, but
it's gonna be interesting.
They play Indiana in a week or two, and then they play USC right after.
That's gonna be.
I guess we'll see.
Where are they playing that Indiana game at? Is that at Illinois or is that in Bloomington?
It's in Bloomington.
That would be so fun to go to. It's only like 2 hours from here.
They've got Indiana, then USC, and then 2 weeks later, Ohio State. And after Ohio State, they've got Washington.
Dang.
Illinois does or Indiana?
Illinois, yeah. Four really hard games in 5 weeks. Just curious. I don't know. They don't really feel like a top 10 team, but guess we'll see.
It'll be interesting. That Indiana-Illinois game would be fun to be at, just for the atmosphere and for the game. Like, I just think that would, two teams that, aren't normally like in your top 10 historically to be going at each other. Like, that game would be a lot of fun to see. So just to split off real quick here, let's check in. Let's see here. So after we had a game, an NFL game on Thursday, an NFL game, an upset. I think most people would say it was an upset with the Chargers beating the Chiefs in Brazil. And then we've had a little over a game and a half, the morning set, and then we're a little over halfway through the afternoon games this afternoon. So what are you guys' thoughts on the NFL season so far?
I don't like it one bit.
It's definitely throwing me for a loop, that's for sure. But that's what the NFL does. Yeah, I'm not liking it. My Niners are down by 3.
Well, it looks like they're about to get
and the Lions are losing too.
Jeez.
Yeah, they're playing ugly.
Yeah, the Packers look good on those first couple of opening drives. Jordan Love looked like he was on top. I am shocked at the Titans-Broncos score, 12-10 for the Titans right now. That's kind of wild with young Cam Ward at quarterback for the Titans, and as bad as they've been. And the Broncos defense was supposed to be like the best in the league. So Buccaneers won late. That was a great game. The Bengals-Browns was a good game. The Colts, the Colts just whooped on the Dolphins. I did not expect that. That was the biggest win of the day.
All I care is that Achane still got 15.5 points.
Nice.
He redeemed himself.
You got to love that.
Steelers
came back and took one from the Jets. By the way, that was interesting to watch Justin Fields start for the Jets against Aaron Rodgers starting for the Steelers, when last year in game 1, it was Aaron Rodgers starting for the Jets playing Justin Fields starting for the Steelers. That was weird.
That is funny. Yeah. Steelers defense got killed in that game. They only got 2.5 points from those stupid Steelers.
Yeah, they did not. And Justin Fields looked legit for the first time. I thought he played well in that game.
Clearly, they scored 30.
Yeah, I mean, he was 16 of 22 for 218 yards and a touchdown, and then ran for 48 yards. And he ran for 2 touchdowns. So he looked legit. Good for him. I hate the fact that he's just been hammered. Like, they bring these kids into the league, they get thrown to the wolves, treated like crap, and then everybody's like, "Why does he suck?" Well, I don't know. How about you freaking coach him up?
My gosh. Kittle's out with a freaking hamstring injury.
Woohoo!
Sorry. You monster.
I'm not happy he's hurt. I'm just happy he's not in the game.
I need Lamar Jackson to never hand off and to only throw to Zay Flowers. Otherwise, I have no chance of winning.
Hey, I'm all the way up to 68 points, which doesn't help because I'm even lower on win percentage now. I'm down to 1%. They basically said, you're not winning this game. Of course, it doesn't help that Jared Goff has has 3.34 points. Thanks,
He's
Jared.
thrown for 9 feet.
Something like that. 136 yards, 1 interception.
Ooh, that doesn't help.
Ouch. No touchdowns. Of course, we've only got 6 points, so yeah, I'm getting just mollywopped. I had a feeling I should have played Krosky Merritt in that game, but what do I know?
I don't know anything.
I clearly don't know anything when it comes to fantasy either. So.
Starting to run out of time here, bros.
Oh, no, we are definitely down to it. Just a quick little last read. The last thing, Helmet Nation, of course, we are there with collectibles. We also want to let you know that we have all of the new rivalries, NFL helmets, collectible helmets on the site, and they will be coming out in the next week or 2. So we will have those finally, in stock. So all the new rivalry stuff that you saw from the NFC West and AFC East teams, you can find those on our site. So if you want to add to your collection, if you're a fan of a team in the AFC West AFC East and the NFC West, then, any one of those 8 teams, the rest of the league will roll out 2 divisions at a time for the next 3 years. And then we'll start in with the new rivalry stuff. It's kind of the same idea as the MLB is doing with their city uniforms. Isn't that the MLB? And I know the NBA does something like that similarly. So the NFL is trying to basically do the same kind of thing, and they will only be wearing those uniforms against division rivals. So we will have those helmets here in the next week or so. Gentlemen,
nice.
It's good to chat with you. Excited. We've got the trip coming up here in just about a little under a month, man. So It'll be awesome.
It's going to be a good time.
All right, gentlemen. Okay. Hope you have a great day, and we will see you in 2 weeks.
See ya.
Sweet. See you guys. And Josh is out.